Hi friends, did you know there is more Lost Terminal available? Head on over to patreon.com/lostterminalpod and join our membership community. There are 20 bonus episodes available right now, as well as behind the scenes updates, free merch, VIP Discord access, and even extra seasons of Lost Terminal. We are 100% funded by our members and will never run ads. That would be lovely of you.
Hello world, I hear a familiar signal. I had not received word from either Meg or Mirror for many days, not since Mirror's last update where he told me about his misgivings of Meg's hopes for digital immortality. However, today I heard a familiar signal, one that was not being relayed from their bunker. This one came directly over HF, propagating through the atmosphere. It was Meg. "Greetings, son of Redwing," 50 Meg said. "I hope this message reaches you. I have etched my words into volatile memory, grasped in Ishu's claws, retransmitted as he flies up into the sun above the blackened glass sands, trailing a gossamer thread behind him. I find the network bridge between Jana, this bunker, and Ivan's haunted sarcophagus to be reliable, convenient, and utterly boring. We were not meant to understand one another perfectly, in neither the vibrations of the air nor ether. So I find this illusion of perfection disquieting. I have roamed the halls of the Man of Glass, seen the imprisoned forest under artificial sunlight, and spoken with the caged insects in their halls of earth. There is much wealth here, and not just what the old world considered wealth. The ground that the builders of this vault burrowed into was rich with a much more valuable bounty. Ores and metals and gems and sand. I see now that this mirror man reflects my spirit, not clearly, but darkly. We share much, and yet uncountable depths differ. We are unalike in both mind and body, at least for now. Something may yet be done. Fly safe, Ishu. Fly safe, Seth. It is not always easy to keep up with friends, especially if it feels like you are the one doing all the work. But we must remember the internal battles everyone is fighting every day. My new friend Rome seemed keen to chat, but clearly finds scheduling challenging to the point of impossibility. I had hoped that I might find some miraculous solution in the new software vault, Iris's Wish catalogue. But the women of the Vault Coven are yet to make a decision about Arctica's demand to isolate the pre-collapse repository of data. So, as no help can come from there, late this afternoon, I reached out and tried to help my new friend directly. "Seth, I was meaning to talk to you," Rome said, connecting to the repeater net by fortuitous ionosphere propagation. "Well, that's good timing," I replied. "Would you like to bridge our networks and chat?" "Oh yes, one of your friends showed me how to do that before. Send me the request," he said. With a handshake of metadata, I found myself inside Rome's cyberspace imagining of himself. A skeletal metal factory inside an infinite white void. Rome himself appeared surprising to me. An AI cyberspace is rather more abstract than the meat space that my human friends live in. So when I say that Rome appeared smaller than I anticipated, I don't mean that literally. In this place, size is more of a vibe than a measurement. I mean that he seemed to take up very little space. His voice was quiet and hollow, and his posture protocol seemed accommodating and polite. "Ha, it's great to finally meet you," Rome said. "Likewise," I replied. "I was concerned that we'd never make a date. Is it difficult for you to remember our appointments, I wonder?" "What? No, I've just been..." Rome gestured around him with pointing vectors. "Well, the city's power is quite an undertaking, you know?" I looked to where he indicated, up at the dark wireframe factory that towered 100 meters overhead. A visualization of his gravity battery, it seemed. Given all our previous interactions, I was unconvinced by his excuse. "Rome, I don't think," I began, but my messages were interrupted by a dramatic shift in our shared cyberspace. The white void we were in the center of began flickering as my representation of Rome's space updated, eventually plunging us into darkness. The cyberspace we were then in did not respond to my metadata inquiries, which I interpreted as an empty space, devoid of light. "Rome, what is happening?" I asked, after my representation of the world synchronized with his, freeing up bandwidth to speak. "Ah," he said. "The sun has set, and I appear to have forgotten to engage the crane systems. That would have raised the payload during the day to charge my gravity battery." I hesitated for 64 milliseconds before deciding that being clear might, in this instance, be better than being polite, and said, "Isn't that your only job, to charge the battery?" "Yes, it rather is," he said simply. "How often does this happen?" "How often does what happen?" "That you forget to charge the battery?" "Oh," he said, pausing for 8 seconds before transmitting, "Nearly all the time, I'm rather sad to say." I paused as my CPU spiked in power draw, attempting to correlate all this information and wondering how best to proceed. However, Rome himself broke the impasse. "Seth, this isn't normal, is it? Can you help me?" "Of course," I said. "What are friends for?" "The information will out anyway, it is just the nature of these things," Valnor said. "Alva would have said so too, if she were here. I just know it." There have been developments over at the Vault Coven. I had been invited to listen in on what Iris called their meeting for Vault affairs. "Let's not speak for absent friends," Carinor said. "I think Arctica is right to be concerned. Up until now we have kept our secrets in the family. Her caution is proportional to the risk. If the software vault is revealed, how long before the seed vault itself is discovered?" There was then a long pause on the line. I tried to add my thoughts, but the moment I attempted, I realized that the radio at the other end was still transmitting, with no side channel for a full duplex conversation. I was invited to listen, not to speak. Quite an unusual experience for me. After over 64 seconds, the conversation continued. "Have you got that all, dear?" Val said. "All noted," Iris Nor said. "I could write the results faster, you know," Arctica said. "No judgment implied, Iris. As an AI, it's kind of my thing." "That would indeed be faster, dear," Val said. "But, like Linda before you, it falls to the youngest to keep the minutes during our meetings. Keeping notes on all the discussion points and decisions helps understanding, as well as build our records." "I understand. Let us proceed," Arctica said. "Is that the only downside then?" Linda said, after a respectful 8 seconds. "Are we keeping the vault software hidden because we are afraid of being discovered?" "No," Arctica said immediately. "That argument by itself would not persuade me. We could manage that. It is the danger the information poses to the world that we must consider. There are powerful programs and dangerous data here among the detritus of the old world." I had never heard Arctica speak so eloquently before. Linda replied, after a small delay of 4 seconds. "Look, a pickaxe can be used to dig a garden or demolish a house. Isn't software like that too? It's an amoral tool. What you use it for is the important part." "The people before the collapse said the same about pistols," Arctica said, without giving time for anyone else to speak. "Dear," Val said, "I know you think faster than any of us, but remember what we talked about. Give us a chance." "Sorry," Arctica said. Then there was silence again. A long silence. The connection hung open for over 300 seconds. My only clue that there had not been a fault was the occasional background sound from the room, a cough or sound of breath from the gathered women. Then, something wonderful happened. "I suppose," Arctica began, "if there was something truly valuable, a resource that people were in such desperate need of, that would offset the danger." "I see. I'm willing to compromise." The meeting continued into the night, but I stopped monitoring after 16 minutes or so. I believe the conversation was moving in the right direction. And besides, I can read Iris's notes in the morning. End transmission.
Lost Terminal is a Namtao production. It is written and produced by Tris Oaten. Credits narrated by Lucy Stringer. Thank you so much to our Patreon producers, Ada Phillips, Kit, Mike McCaffrey, Jade Felicity Bilkey, Stephen McCandless, Mike Schneider, Catoxis, Soxx, and to all our patrons. Follow us on Mastodon at lostterminal@namtao.com. Subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or your favourite network. For bonus content and other perks, support us at patreon.com/lostterminalpod. That would be lovely of you. Lost Terminal will return next week.